Have you not listened to your elders, my friend?
I've listened to the elder, but I don't listen to.
Okay, you have.
Welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why we love it loud. Hey everyone, Rob here. This is a little introduction into the audio or video that you're getting ready to listen to. I just want to say a big thanks for people that have reached out. It has been a little bit since we have had the opportunity to record a show for the podcast. And like I had kind of alluded to, there are some health concerns going on inside of our household currently at the moment with my wife. We're still kind of in a limbo figuring out what's going on. So one step forward each day, and you hopefully will get some answers. So that's why there's a little bit of lag in between shows. And for those of you that reached out, that means the world to us. And the show will continue, but it's going to be obviously when it's feasible for myself and the Carusos to do so. So I couldn't ask for 2 better brothers to go through this journey with me at this time, and doing this show brings a ray of sunshine, talking about one of my favorite things, of course, KISS, but more importantly, music. Music is what makes the world go round, and music is that thing that kind of soothes at the same time. We can all find those songs or those videos that we can just kind of get lost in, and where you say like, oh, I feel like so-and-so wrote this song for me. So listening to KISS music and talking about KISS and chatting KISS about other things really just kind of, makes things better in some way. And, my wife's first KISS concert, and by say KISS air quotes, first time she saw any KISS songs was on the Paul Stanley Live to Win tour. That was one of our first, actually that was our first concert we had gone to. So KISS has a special place in both of our hearts. And again, just wanted to say thank you. And I know this is kind of a little bit of a downer before the episode you're getting ready to listen to or watch on YouTube, but thank you very much for the well wishes. It means well, and we're going to keep on and doing what we do when time allows. So thank you for the grace for that. And let's get into a really great episode that you're getting ready to listen to. Thanks, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3. I'm pausing at 3 because it's very important tonight. 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why we love it loud. I'm one of your hosts, Rob Myers, and welcome to episode 43, the 9 KISS Army things. I wonder why I said that. More on that in just a second. You can follow us at all of our social media handles. You can follow us on Twitter at RBTE Podcast. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/rightbetweentheeyespodcast. We are on Instagram. You can email into the show at rightbetweentheeyespodcast@gmail.com, and we will read those on the show. And if you're watching our preview clip, we're also on YouTube. And if you listen on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or any of your podcatchers, rate and leave a review of the show, and we will read that as well. Like I said, I'm Rob, one of your hosts, and I would not do this show without a Caruso. So Nick Caruso is here tonight. Nick, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It's been a little hiatus, and it's good to be back talking about our favorite band. And it's kind of exciting tonight to have. This is the first time I've done the show. Not that we haven't had guests before, but with somebody new. So I'm really, really looking forward to this discussion.
And playing the part of Nikko Caruso.
No.
You don't have
to play that part.
We have to play that part because that's a tall order. No one can fill those shoes. But stepping in tonight from KISS Army things, Xander, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me back on. It's been, I think this is my second time on the show?
Second time, first time on the audio end of it, but
yes. And so
you and I did
thank you guys so much for having me back on. I appreciate it. And it's good to meet Nick for the first time. Shout out to Nikko. He couldn't be here, but still want to give him a shout out. Maybe next time he'll join us. But yeah, it's great to be on, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
And this was something we've been saying our last couple of shows, because we had the Todd Kearns interview, then we rolled right into Heroes and Monsters. If you haven't heard those episodes, go check those out. I'm not saying fantastic episodes, but Todd just laid the groundwork very well. And Heroes and Monsters was a fantastic album. We had a blast, and we were saying, all right, we paused our Creatures of the Night box set. We were ready to do the 40th anniversary. We interviewed Todd, and then off the soundboard, Poughkeepsie 1984 came out. We're like, oh, we're going to do that. Nikko had to work tonight, and we thought, oh, we should probably pause both of those. So I was trying to think of like, all right, what's in our short list of show ideas? So we'll get to that in a second, but I do want to run some news real quick, and we'll see what makes the Kiss world go round. 2, 1. So it's been a little bit since we've recorded on the show. I know, Xander, I think you guys have touched on it a little bit, that Kiss is back out on their is this the tailgate party before the final 54 or the final 50?
I counted today. They have 48 shows left. So we are in the final 48 now.
Wow.
We're in the home stretch.
Nice. So I believe they're in the South America right now, working their way, and I think they're going to jet off to Europe. So this has been kind of old news, but I haven't had a chance to hear Nick and Xander talk about it. That, Gene did have a little episode, and I can't remember exactly where they were at the time. If you remember, Xander, I can't. It's escaping me at the moment. But
Argentina or Brazil?
That's
Brasilia.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. But where he had that moment of got overheated, and Brant and I had talked about it on his show. It was kind of that first moment of like these larger than life heroes that, they've been going on 50 years. And you have that moment of seeing Gene sitting, playing bass, sitting down, playing guitar. You just have that moment of going, okay, there is some mortality here and things going on. Did that give you guys pause for a moment to be like, oh, like this is real? And in typical Gene fashion, they stopped the show. He went backstage, got some water, did whatever he did, and came right back out and finished the show. So just kind of want you get your guys' thoughts. We'll start with Xander, our guest here. Just your initial thoughts of, Kiss getting back out on the road and then having that little hiccup moment. Did it give you any thought of like, well, all three of us aren't seeing Kiss till like November, and this happened back in March?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, yeah, it definitely gave me a bit of a startle. I mean, if you recall, there was an episode, not with his health, but remember when he was coming down from the pod?
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of like tilted, and you saw Gene kind of stumble and all that. Yeah, those things are obviously going to give us Kiss fans like a moment of like, hold your breath. But I must say that it's going to take a lot more than that to take down the demon. Yes, it obviously was, a bit odd to see him, sitting down, kind of looking out of it. But I mean, 5 minutes later, he came back, drank some water. And then if you watch the rest of the show on YouTube, you wouldn't have even known that he had anything wrong with him. And that to me was just like kind of an oh crap moment, because let's face it, guys, anybody else would have canceled the show. Any other band would have said, oh, can't do it. Sorry, guys, go home. I'm still going to get paid. You're going to get, who cares about you, whatever. No, Gene came back out, finished the show. No, nothing was canceled. And that, to me, I think says something about Kiss and about Gene. It's going to take a lot more than that to get to Gene. Obviously, we know it was 116 degrees that night, lots of humidity. You have pyro going off. That makes it even hotter. All the outfit, all these things are going to contribute to it. But, I mean, yeah, for a moment there, it was kind of scary to see Gene sitting down. But in all honesty, I think that they did the right thing of just taking a quick moment to take care of Gene, and then, the show must go on. I think that once, we start seeing Kiss when they come to the States, I mean, we'll be seeing them in, air-conditioned stadiums and all that. So I think I remember, what was it, in 2007 when Paul Stanley was out in California, and he was dehydrated really bad and had a heartbeat of about 200 beats per minute. And he actually missed that show. Kiss didn't cancel, but Paul did. So, I mean, all things considered, we got pretty lucky with how things ended up. So, yeah, it was a scare, but I think that everybody in the media kind of blew it out of proportion. You see people like, Gene falls ill during Kiss, and it's like, okay, technically, yeah, something did happen, but you look at him and clearly he went back out like nothing ever happened. And we can only hope that he's in, good health, and we can only hope that from here on out things are okay. But no, I think Gene's all right. I think we'll finish out this tour and things will be hunky dory. I mean, it was 2013. Paul Stanley fell on stage and gassed his shoulder open during the Monster tour. There was one time Eric Singer broke his toe, still went out and played the drums that night. I mean, yeah, these things happen. They are human. They are mortals, but the show must go on. The show will always go on. And I think all things considered, Gene will be all right. He's a tough guy.
Yeah. Nick.
Yeah, I think perseverance and Kiss go together. They're just road warriors. It's really a credit to this band how many years they tour and they really don't cancel shows. I mean, they are true road warriors. There's no doubt about it. I will say though that when you see it though, me being the elder guy here, being 58 years old and knowing these guys are about 13, 14 years older than me, you do take pause and realize that they're at an age where a lot of things could happen. And I guess, we're very fortunate. They're very fortunate, but I think that everything's going to be okay. I think that was just like a one-time thing, like you guys talked about, dehydration, all that stuff. And I have no doubt that they'll finish the tour out, but it does make somebody like me think like, the end really is near. We make fun of it and we talk about the end of the road. Will it ever end? Will they add dates? But I really am seeing kind of like where it's going and that this is really going to be it. And that's, and they're going to get there. There's no doubt about it. But I do pause back and try to just kind of savor and really count my blessings that I've been able to see him as many times and know that I've got at least one more show. At least one. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But
right.
Yeah.
Daily reminder for everybody to drink water. Everybody stay hydrated out there.
Unlike I'm drinking Mountain Dew tonight, but still.
Yeah, I've got my money bag soda, but maybe there's water in there somewhere. I don't know. Well, anyway.
The other bit of topic that I want to get through is Record Store Day has come and gone. And with the release of the Eric Carr Rockology and Loretta Carr, who runs Eric's website, had put up, I think I'd sent both you guys a message like, hey, if you didn't get a chance to pick up Eric Carr's solo album, you can do so. And I think everybody and their brother hit that website when that went up to try and score. Did you guys get a chance to get anything? I'm seeing
it was down. It's been down. I clicked the link and it was down. It said, service. Yeah, can't get in. I was pretty disappointed, but I will say this. If anybody sees me looking off into space here, looking off to the side, I'm actually currently on an eBay auction right now trying to see if I can get the vinyl. So if you see me kind of looking over here, I'm just bidding away. So I'll let you know if I win or not. But I'm currently trying to get the vinyl because I missed out on the vinyl. I did get the CD, though.
Yeah, the CD. There it is. So, I mean, that's been kind of a hard thing to get. And like Xander said, he's kind of currently bidding. The part of me goes, I wonder what it's going for, but I have a guess. And that's a crazy thing that, the CD was only pressed for 500 and I was able to get both the CD and the vinyl, and they only had 2 CDs. I was 6th in line. So I feel like if you weren't in the upper shot, but Xander, you seem to be able to pick up the CD fairly easy.
Well, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. So I had never really done Record Store Day before, just because I buy so much vinyl every other day that, it's just not really as special to me. But with Eric Carr having Rockology, it was like, okay, well, now I have a reason to get out there. My local store opened at 10 in the morning. I was there by 10:30. So the store just opened up and there was already a line about a block long. And I didn't get in there for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes standing outside waiting. And by the time I got in there, about half of the releases they had were all gone. There were no Eric Carr Rockologies, and there was only one CD left. I'm not even sure how many vinyl they got or how many CDs they got, but this was the last one they had. I was unaware that they were even doing a CD version to begin with, so I was really bummed that I wasn't going to get the vinyl. I thought I was going to have to just walk away empty-handed, but no, I got the CD, which I didn't realize that this was even more rare. So yeah, there's only 500 of these made, and these are going for ridiculous amounts on eBay, which I'm sure give it some time and they'll all come down because these people just want to jack them up to see what kind of concert tickets. We'll sell them for the highest price to see who wants it, and then we'll just kind of trickle down.
Settle down there, Taylor Swift.
Exactly. Yeah, the 2 most popular releases that my store said were the Eric Carr and the Taylor Swift, which my wife is a huge T Swift fan, so she was looking for that one. I was looking for Eric Carr, and we both we both didn't get the record, but hey, I got the CD, so I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, like I said, I'm about 5 minutes away from potentially winning this eBay auction, so I'll give you an update in a minute. But yeah, that'd be kind of nice if I could. I love Eric Carr. Eric Carr's great.
Oh yeah, we're gonna catch this right on the podcast. I'll have to find my breaking news segment. I'll just put in, and you'll just go like this, and I'll just interrupt whatever.
Yeah, I'm either gonna get real mad and flip the table, or I'm gonna be really happy and celebrate. Sure. We'll see.
And Xander signed off for the evening. Now, Nick, I know that you went out to Record Store Day. I know that you got something. Had you done Record Store Day previous, or were you?
Oh yeah, this is probably like my 4th or 5th Record Store Day. But I got there about an hour earlier, and I was about maybe 25th in line, and I was there to get that and the Van Halen Right Here Right Now 4 LP set, and I got lucky because I got the last copy of the Van Halen. I saw 2 or 3 people before me. I think he had 4 copies of that. But I don't even think the store I was at even had the Eric Carr release.
Really?
Either one of them, because he kind of had a dumbfounded look on his face when I asked him about it. He knows Eric Carr, but he's like, I don't think I got those. He was really nice. He went and he looked a little bit. So I wound up getting half of what I wanted, and I was kind of happy with that. Because I saw a lot of people missed out on each of those things. And, that's the fun of it. I mean, I've gone before, and this one seemed a little bit different. It seemed a little more crowded than I remember going before. It seemed like people are much more into collecting now. The last one I went to was before COVID, and it didn't feel like this. This was, people were tense. People were there. They were there to get, and the Taylor Swift, I saw nothing but disappointment from a lot of people. There were a lot of moms and dads there, and they were just like sunk when I think that thing went like before I even got in line. And the problem is people are waiting behind me, and it's like, I don't know why they didn't just go up to the counter and ask. You're waiting there all that time, and to go look through a bin and realize it's not there, and ask the owner, and he's like, oh no, that's been gone like early on. So
yeah. I got there I wanted to get there 4 hours before it opened. I was going to be that dedicated this time, but I got there about 3 hours early, still 6th in line. And it was kind of interesting. There was a documentary film crew that came through and was filming at the record store, talking about Record Store Day. The guy came right down to me and says, do you want to be on film for the documentary? And I was like, sure. So we just started asking questions. I had to sign a waiver and all this other stuff. They're like, we're filming down. If you don't sign the waiver, we'll just pixelate your face and move on. So they said they're going to take it to like a film festival somewhere. They took my email. So when that premieres, I'll get a like director's, like a screener version.
That's awesome.
Really kind of weird and cool.
That's neat.
I mentioned a Kiss podcast, like, I do a Kiss podcast. What brings you here? So I was trying to say Kiss in every other breath and right between the eyes. They'll probably cut all that out. Awesome. Just for us to talk about records. But
I want to bring this up though. Why do our guys not do something for Record Store Day?
That was my next question.
I don't understand. I mean, all these off the soundboards, there's so many of them. They could literally pluck something, just a double LP, a show. It doesn't have to be the greatest. Obviously, we've seen they don't always put stuff out in the greatest quality. I mean, do you ever recall anything in the past? I don't ever really can think of anything that they've put out.
I can't think of anything either, and it's a shame.
Ace has been the only one that
Ace, yes, Ace, right.
I've gotten trouble walking at Record Store Day. Not 12 picks. I just got it a couple years ago. I'll find it in a minute. Much like Xander's eBay bid, I'll pull it out at some point. But he's done some stuff. Origins Volume 2 picture disc. That was last year. The closest Kiss member other than Ace is Eric Singer, having been on Alice Cooper's Brutal Planet, and that was last year's Record Store Day. But yeah, I
missed that. Nice.
That was really cool. It's on like a muddy brown vinyl.
But we're such rabid fans, right? I mean, if they just put something out, a color disc, anything. I mean,
this year
an EP, anything with something. I mean, I would look forward to that so much. I would love that. I mean, really
Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits 30th anniversary is this year. What if they would have done Record Store Day, Smashes, Thrashes, something?
Exactly.
You'd have had Kiss fans lined up around blocks at places to try and. Can you imagine the madhouse? If we think getting a hold of this Eric Carr thing has been hard, trying to get a hold of the Smashes or
Oh yeah, the people would scalp it up real quick and start high pricing. Oh yeah, no, it'd be bad. But no, I still would like to see something like that in the future. I mean, I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We got 9 seconds on this.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
We're just gonna let it.
We're in the final countdown here. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh it and see. But somebody's trying. The bid just went up. Oh, went up again. You can't beat me. I put in a stupid amount. I think I got it, but yeah, no, like I saw it trying to like climb up because somebody was like trying to put in, but they don't. Sure. I don't think they beat my price. I won. Sweet.
There it is.
That's wonderful.
I got it. I'm very happy.
Well, that's all.
Congratulations.
That's all for the show, folks. We just did this episode so Xander could get his Eric Carr rockology. There we go.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Well, let's just move into. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say real quickly, I also heard that, I'm not sure if you guys did too, but I heard some people posting on Facebook saying that the record stores that they went to ask about Eric Carr, they said that theirs were shipped. The store owner said that theirs that they got was damaged. Did you guys hear about that? I saw at least 3 people say that the people they asked, their store owner said they came damaged. We can't put them out. We're not going to sell that to anybody. It's unfortunate, but sorry. So I wonder how many others. I heard about 3 people talking about that. So hopefully, because again, there's only 4,000 of these made. So even like 5-10 of these, that's a lot compared to how many's out there. So I hope that there weren't very many more that were damaged.
Yeah, that's kind of sad given the fact that people were wanting it. I mean, that could have happened, probably not in your shop, Nick, but can you imagine if it was, if he would have said, yeah, I did, but it's damaged product.
That would have been upsetting.
I mean, the part of me would have said,
I'll still buy it. I'll
still buy it. Can we do halvesies on it? Or I think I can glue this record back together.
Yeah, it's broken in half. I'll just get my Kiss glue. I'll just glue it together. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Right.
That's funny. By the way, we mentioned Ace Frehley. Today's Ace's birthday.
Happy birthday. That's right.
Happy birthday to the spaceman, right?
There you go.
That's right. And depending on what page you go to, you can go to Walmart and find a Kiss T-shirt that says 1977 tour on it, and it's got the Kiss. I'm just going to hold it up for the sake in case this is going to be our preview clip. But my Walmart T-shirt that I just got with Eric and Tommy on it, tour 1977, because they were in it then. I love bootlegs like that, where I should say bootlegs. Like I even kind of like poked fun at Walmart a little bit. Like somebody in Walmart's merch department was like, "Yep, Kiss, 4 members, paint, 1977 sounds fine." You could almost look at Eric, like being a fan of Eric, I could kind of tell that was definitely him. But Tommy's definitely got his Sonic Boom like V on, like right away. That's what pulled my head back to it. So I like seeing things like that where it's like, that's wrong. You still gonna buy it? Well, of course, I'm still gonna buy it because I'm a Kiss fan. That's what you do.
Speaking of Ace, I think he said on the Eddie Trunk show he's playing tonight somewhere, right? Because he was alluding to the fact that they'll probably have a cake on the stage for him, and it was just that interview that we all heard on Eddie Trunk was just priceless. And I didn't hear the follow up. Oddly enough, I didn't. I heard it was much ado about nothing. So
I mean, I was listening to that at work, and it was a lot of like, okay, Ace, let's pump the brakes here, where everybody was kind of like, hey, just slow your roll a little bit. Yeah.
Simmer down, boy.
Well, yeah.
I wanted to ask one quick thing about that shirt, Rob. So when you held it up there, okay, so we said Tommy's wearing Sonic Boom. Is Eric wearing a Live 35, which I guess in turn would have been the Alive outfit? What's he wearing? Is that Sonic Boom?
He actually. I didn't even really think of it. This is like a composite. So
I was like, that's like, it's more than just putting the current lineup. It's like a different mishmash.
Yeah.
You've got, it looks like maybe Sonic Boom or Live 35, everybody except for Tommy. Tommy.
Yeah.
And maybe Gene. Weird. I don't know.
Cold. Yeah, totally weird.
Just one of them things. Them silly things.
Yeah, I didn't even really notice that that's Eric in his Alive 35, a la the Destroyer outfit. So funny. And again, somebody at Walmart had to get the rights to sell it and said, we want to use Kiss in their image, but they came up with their own thing. Crazy.
That's funny.
Bootleggers, like, Xander, you and I have done a vinyl episode, and the Kiss vinyl tag went through, and I showed my 1994 bootleg that has the End of the Road lineup on the front of it, the Revenge lineup on the back of it. On the inside fold is the tour, basically the Monster tour. So it's like 3 different images, 2 different lineups of the band, and only one of them was correct, and it's the one on the back.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Well, with Xander being here, we, his shows, Kiss Army things. And like I said, at the beginning of the show, trying to think of like, all right, what's going to be our show topic tonight? And I was at work just trying to finish up some things. And I actually said Kiss Army things out loud at work. And I was like, that should be the show. What are like Seinfeld? This is where the Seinfeld clip comes in. This is the show where what are the 9 Kiss things that you would think that most Kiss fans either should have in their collection or just part of your DNA? So I gave a loose list to Xander and Nick of it could be, merchandise, a ticket stub, concert t-shirts, records, anything that you think somebody either needs to have or something you need to have being a Kiss fan. Or I even kind of joked, we're all going into battle, so we got to go to the Kiss Army Things warehouse and start picking stuff off Xander's shelf. Oh, I'm going to need this to show this Taylor Swift fan why you need to be a Kiss fan. I need to show this Journey fan why you need to be a Kiss fan. This Milli Vanilli fan. I don't know why I said Milli Vanilli, but
I know why.
I think everybody knows why. So that's what we're going to be. I don't think these are going to be in any order of like, okay, here is the most important. My last one I made last for a reason, but other than that, this is just kind of open to viewer discretion or the podcaster's discretion. So we'll just start with number 9. What is the 9 Kiss Army things that you need? We'll start with our guest. We'll go with Xander here. What's your first thing that you kind of need as a Kiss fan?
Yeah, so I was kind of, you sent a little message beforehand kind of talking about what the topic was going to be. And so you mentioned about how, it could be as open-ended as we wanted. It could be anything from about, your first this to your first that, your first ticket stub you mentioned. So I thought that one was a really good one because I feel, I don't know, I feel really bad for the upcoming generation because once the end of the road is done, I mean, you're not going to be able to see Gene and Paul and see Kiss in concert. So having your first ticket stub or, seeing your first Kiss concert isn't going to be a thing anymore because it's a thing of the past. But for those of us that have seen Kiss, obviously seeing your first Kiss show is very, very special. Myself, especially because every show I've seen shouldn't have happened. It's all post farewell tour. So I've been very, very lucky to just see Kiss the times that I have. And so, yeah, everybody's, first ticket stub is something that everybody, loves to, to keep and to remember. And so I have mine here. It's from the Kiss Aerosmith tour in 2003, which actually was 20 years ago this year, which makes even me feel old. I'm supposed to be the young guy, but to think that, that was 20 years ago is just, it's crazy to think about, but I do have some memories from the show, some vague memories. It was the first time that my brother and I saw Kiss live, but it was also the first time that we got to actually be a part of the Kiss Army. Kiss for us was just, it was always us at home, watching a video, listening to a CD, talking with brother, talking with dad, playing with the action figures. All of a sudden now you're surrounded by thousands of people who share the same love that you do. Of course, we were really young, so these were like actual, veteran Kiss Army veterans. But it was just what a wonderful time to get out and to be with the Kiss Army. And I think no matter what era of a fan you are, there's nothing like seeing Kiss, and there's nothing like seeing Kiss for the first time. So yeah, your first ticket stub is kind of like a given. So I wanted to go with that one. Thank you, Rob, for the idea. And so yeah, that's my number 9.
Nick, how about you?
You know what? I'm going to have to keep it in. I'm probably going to, my 9th is probably going to be my number 1, to be honest with you. And then everything else will kind of, I guess, accommodate what it is. But I can't agree. There's nothing, if you're going to go into battle, if you're going to convince somebody why they should like this band, you have to see them live. There's absolutely nothing like it. I've converted many besides my son, friends, his friends, my daughter. It's just my wife, co-workers, business partners. It just is the ultimate experience for people that don't like them, don't know them, would never listen to them. But I don't know anybody that I've ever taken that didn't walk away from that and be moved by it. And whether they went on to be big fans later or anything, it's always indelibly stuck in their mind of that's a once in a lifetime experience. And if you're lucky, you get to see it again and again and again, like us. But I think on a Kiss Army list, you have to start with that because that's what it's all about. Everything else kind of accentuates it. But when you're there, it's a visual, the smell, the smoke, the glitter, the silver. It's unlike anything you're going to see from other bands, whether you like other bands better musically, you like their music, their musicianship, but Kiss Live is the ultimate experience. And so everything else will just, for me, it's not going to be less than that, but that's where you start. That's where it has to begin.
Awesome.
Well said.
And I want to piggybacking on Xander's a little bit. Have you guys seen the Aerosmith Peace Out logo that's been floating around? Like Aerosmith could be on their farewell tour that's supposed to be announced here fairly soon. Whatever.
I think tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. It's
All
crazy.
right. My first one, I'm going to go a little different direction because some people may have experienced this first, is I put vinyl. I think as big as vinyl is right now, and if you're an OG Kiss fan or even somewhere in the middle, Kiss and vinyl are kind of synonymous. Even if you grew up in the 80s, you knew that Kiss had vinyl records. You had an older brother, an uncle, a father, or somebody had that you got to see. So I think that's kind of the cool thing about Kiss fans. Maybe unlike other bands, they've been around long enough that some people go, oh, records. Like with Kiss, you just kind of automatically think about Kiss and vinyl, and the two are synonymous. So I think in your collection or in your Kiss Army Things backpack, you've got to have a Kiss vinyl that, like, hey, this is why I like this band. And Rob's holding up a notebook, but pretend it's vinyl, you know. So that's my my first one of the 9 is the Kiss vinyl. All right, Xander, 8.
Well, I tell you what, that's a perfect segue. You said it the best, my friend. I mean, you're right. The first album or the first record that a Kiss fan gets is pretty important, pretty pivotal. I think I actually showed this and told this story on the last time I was here, so I won't get too deep into it again. But the first record, of course, for me was Love Gun, the first record that I bought myself, this old beat up copy. Back then, I didn't even have a turntable to listen to on. It was just something that I wanted for myself, wanted it for the collection because of what it represented, Kiss's legacy, their longevity. But yeah, no, vinyl has become a big part of my listening to Kiss. And I feel like, a lot of Kiss fans are like that too, where, like, because I never heard of vinyl, listened to vinyl at all. And so getting into vinyl getting into Kiss and then getting into vinyl has kind of, it's broadened that a little bit. So, the first album that a Kiss fan gets is usually pretty pivotal too. It's one of the things that you would have in your essentials with you. So for me, that would be Love Gun. But so that's my number 8 is, like you said, first Kiss album, first Kiss record, first Kiss vinyl.
Nick, 8.
Again, we do not talk to each other before the show. We do not share notes. But if you are a Kiss fan, if you've got any longevity with the band, everyone knows that you have to have Kiss Alive. You have to have the vinyl version of Kiss Alive. You have to be able to open that gatefold cover. You have to read the notes from our 4 gentlemen. You have to look at the back picture and see the teenagers with the poster. But more than anything, you have to recognize, in conjunction with seeing them live, the album that really, really put them on the map. And listening to the mix of that album and hearing those songs, if you ever go back and you listen to the studio albums and then you hear them on a live, they're just, for all practical purposes, so much more alive, so vibrant. You really get to feel the character of everybody, and it just is essential. If you're trying to convert anybody, they must have Kiss Alive on vinyl.
Love it.
So I'm going to go with something else tactile. I know Xander's got a rack of magazines and I've got a rack of magazines, but I'm going to pull this thing out. Mine is magazine, book, paper product. My wife got this thing for me, the hottest brand in the land. This might as well be like History Bible. So this was my Christmas gift from my wife last year. So all the stuff that I don't have on my list is in here, but even just the magazines, when I became a Kiss fan in '89, I was just buying stuff. And I see Xander's got the latest Kiss magazine that you can find in your local Walmart right now. I think I even sent Xander a message like, is this 1980, 1990 something? That there's a Kiss magazine. Right now on the shelf, both of those magazines are out of my local Books A Million. So that was just something back in the day when, you had MTV and the latest album was coming out. You were picking up Metal Edge, Hit Parader, whatever that thing was. That was your internet, lack of a better word. That was your source of information to figure out who these band members were, what the albums were, and maybe where they're coming to your town. That's where I read for the Revenge Tour, like, oh, they're coming to Toledo, Ohio. I need to try and get tickets to that show, and then figure out what does that even mean, getting concert tickets. So paper, magazine, book, that is my essential thing. This might be too big for your backpack, but it is definitely worth it.
I love that. That is awesome. Is that the book by Nicholas Buckland?
Nicholas Buckland, yeah, from the guys over at
Everything Kiss.
Everything Kiss, and then he's also on Kiss My Wax.
Right, yeah.
Well. Yep.
That's a rare book. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So, Xander, what's your number 7?
So my number 7, another Kiss Army fan essential. Everybody, Kiss fans always have probably more than a few, but Kiss shirts, right? Everybody has Kiss shirts. For me as a collector, that's where it started. 7th grade, all I wanted was Kiss shirts and Kiss CDs. I wanted to wear my favorite band and listen to my favorite band whenever I wanted, and it's kind of grown into this. But for me, yeah, shirts is where it all started. And it's a shame this isn't a video episode. It's audio only because I brought some show and tell stuff. But this was a shirt this is the first Kiss shirt I ever got, or I ever had. It's unofficial, obviously. And my dad, the cheapskate that he is, didn't want to buy official, real licensed Kiss shirts. So he went to the mall and paid $10 to have some guy airbrush a couple shirts. And there's the front, and then on the back it says #1 Kiss fan in dripping blood. But this was the shirt that Jebba has the exact same one. This is the shirt that we wore to our first Kiss show. But yeah, so every Kiss fan, probably no matter what stage of the Kiss fan you are, new, been a fan for a while, everybody has a Kiss shirt of some sort. But that was just one I wanted to show. I mean, you can see this one here. Actually, it's funny. My taste in Kiss shirts has changed over the years. Usually when I was in high school, I wanted the most obnoxious. I want full print, all 4 members, as big as it can be, fill it. And then now, as an adult, I just want a simple logo. The Kiss Army logo, just the Kiss logo. It's funny how our tastes change. But yeah, so I usually opt for more of a simple shirt nowadays. But my high school days, I always wanted the loudest Kiss shirt possible. But yeah, either way, Kiss shirts, essential to a Kiss fan.
Always.
Nick?
Always. I have to still stick with vinyl for my third, because what I'm kind of doing here is you can kind of encapsulate the glory years in 2 ways. You have Kiss Alive 1 and you have Kiss Alive 2. And I think to have both of those, you've got everything that you need from that era, right? You've got all the hit songs. You could see the evolution of the band, the glitziness, the glossiness of Alive 2 with that gatefold, how they're stage elevated and they became the hottest band in the world. The success of Beth, the success now, a little bit of radio play. So I look at sort of like the first third is the Kiss concert, Kiss Alive 2, and I think you pretty much are converting people and making them understand that you have the era there that the reason the band is still playing today. So Kiss Alive 2, again, on vinyl, to get the proper documentation of it, to get the whole experience of it. You kind of got everything covered there, guys. As great as the studio albums are, and I could throw Destroyer in there and Love Gun because that was your first, there's something about if you're just trying to convert somebody or go to war with them, those are the only 2 albums you really need to bring from that era, from like 75 to 78 or so, and you got it all covered, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go!
I lost my track of thought. That was
You're on your
7. My number 7.
seventh.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So my number 7, we have done an episode on this, and I think it works for our OG people that we made cassette tapes, we made CDs. Now living in the age where you got to have a playlist, a best of, whether you're working out, you're mowing the lawn, when you're not listening to Right Between the Eyes podcast, or when you're not listening to Kiss Army Things podcast, you're probably maybe listening to Shout Out Loud cast. And then you're probably listening to your favorite playlist. We've all got the songs, like, here are the songs that's gonna pump me up for whatever. This is when we're having a party, or you're just chilling in your Kiss room, listening to stuff. I very rarely play albums straight through. I may go 2 or 3 songs and I'll shuffle and do something else. So having a Kiss mix or a Kiss playlist, I think, is essential. Once you get ingrained in the band, you start going, oh, I like this song, I like that. I think that happens for a lot of stuff. I think for Kiss fans, we're real meticulous of what song is going to follow the next song. And I can spend just as long editing a podcast and just as long doing a mixtape when we're going on a road trip. My wife's like, the car's packed. I'm like, I'm just trying to get the right amount of songs. She's like, you already have them on a thumb drive. Just hit shuffle. I'm like, no, this is the road. This is the road trip.
So, it has to be a certain way. I love it.
Well, that's mine. A best of, fill in your blank of how you want to do that. All right, so let's move on to number 6. Xander.
For sure. I like yours, Rob. That was a really good one. For mine, just thinking about, again, the essentials for the Kiss Army. I think that posters are probably something that a lot of Kiss fans own, whether it's one or many. We typically have posters. Obviously, today you can just post pictures of Kiss on your wall. Well, with posters, you had to literally post pictures of Kiss on your wall. And so obviously you can see behind me, I've got posters. We've all got posters. I wanted to show this one because it's one of my favorite ones. I just don't have any room for it. So maybe you guys have seen it. I'm not sure, but you can see this 3D poster from around the Psycho Circus farewell tour era. I thought it was so cool. I just wish I could have a frame and a spot for it. But I think, Kiss fans, we love our Kiss collection. We love our Kiss stuff. Well, we love our Kiss posters. Although if you're like me, you have way too many and probably need to downsize.
Or build another section of the wall to extend out. Do we really need a door for the kitchen that can just go be another part of the wall?
Exactly. I feel like when we moved into this house, my goal was to have, and I achieved it, was to have floor to ceiling, wall to wall, complete Kiss, nothing but. And I achieved that, but then I didn't stop buying stuff. I kept buying more and more and more. And now it's starting to come out from the walls and it's starting to come in. I got to get a bigger house.
There you go.
But it always starts somewhere for me. Again, it was just T-shirts, CDs, posters, simple things like that. But yeah, that's where it usually starts for Kiss fans. And so that's how I would usually, if I wanted to get somebody into Kiss, I would say, look, go to the store, go to the nearest record store and find you a $10 poster of Kiss hanging outside of the UK poster with Big Ben in the background. They always have those somewhere dressed to kill, So yeah, that's what I would say to a Kiss fan. Get you a Kiss poster. Can't go wrong.
Number 6, Nick.
The overlapping here. Again, this has already been brought up by you, but there's nothing better than a Kiss t-shirt. There is no better way to represent your band, look cool in the process, attract the attention of other people. It's how we met Mr. Rob because he saw my son Nikko on a podcast wearing a Dress to Kill.
Talking about Batman.
Talking about Batman, right? Yeah. So I can't agree with you guys more. The more, the better. We should have a closet full of them. My favorite ones happen to be Dress to Kill and Rock and Roll Over. I think those are just, Destroyer too, but I really particularly love the Dress to Kill shot. I love the Spirit of 76 shot. Again, the classic vintage era. Nothing against the new guys. I love them. But there's something about a vintage classic Kiss t-shirt, as simple as the logo like you're wearing there. It's just such an eye-opener when you're out in public. And we've said this before on the podcast, Rob. It's a community. And it's almost like when you see somebody wearing it, you're just like, yeah, man, I get it. we have this bond together. We don't know each other, but the fact that we're wearing this Kiss shirt and representing it. And there was a time where it might have not have been as cool, but it's been a pretty good ride lately. So it is, if you are a Kiss fan, you must have 10, 15, 20 Kiss t-shirts and never get rid of them, preserve them, take care of them, do whatever you got to do because they're wonderful.
Do you guys know how many Kiss shirts you guys have? Do you guys know, have you counted?
Go ahead, Rob. What do you have?
I think I'm up to 15 to 20, I think. And every time I buy one, she's like, how many black t-shirts do you need of Kiss? Yep. So when we saw them at the Clarkston, Michigan show, I bought that white shirt where it's the photo that they're signing or whatever for their VIP package. It's that where Gene's kind of sitting down without his tongue. I said, there, now I have a white Kiss t-shirt. She was just rolled her eyes like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I probably got about 15 to 20. Some of them are unwearable because they're old, but the nice thing about them is that if you go to Amazon, they've got a wonderful collection, all the album covers, some classic shots. So the nice thing about them is you wear them or there's just constantly new designs coming out. And the album cover ones to me have always been my favorite. I just think that Kiss has been a marketing machine and artistically and visually, they just know how to capture your eye. We talk about this all the time. So, and I continue to buy them. I mean, I haven't bought as many with the off the soundboard as I wanted to, but some of that is just money restraints. You know, you're buying the vinyl, you're buying the CD, and at some point you kind of gotta stop with them. But they're the best merchandise. I mean, again, Kiss is merchandise. They're more than anybody.
I'm curious what Xander's number of shirt is because I feel like on the last couple Kiss Army things, I see you have the Mark St. John Animalize. You had held that one up once, and there have been a couple others. I was like, I think he's getting a shirt a week.
Yeah, I'm a little ashamed to say my number. So I have about 74 Kiss shirts.
Wow, that's excellent.
That's awesome. I love it.
And Mike, so our closet, my wife and I's closet is divided. Mine's at the top. I'm taller. She's, short. So hers on the bottom. All my shirts up top, all black, all Kiss at the top. And then I have 2 drawers of our dresser are full of Kiss shirts. And then I have 2 totes outside in the garage that I have some put up nice in storage. Just because I have so many, I can't possibly wear them all. So yeah, about over 70 now at this point.
Nice.
That's incredible. That's nice.
All I heard was I need to buy more. That's all I heard.
Me too.
Whatever I thought I had, Xander said no. That's not enough.
It's funny because I did slow down for a while because it did get out of hand. Also, when we go to Kiss Expo, we would just get 1 or 2 for free. We would get the overstock from the Kiss warehouse. You would get some monster shirt from overseas with Sweden and European dates on it.
That's right. Yeah, so, right.
Yeah, I would just put those back because I'm not going to wear those. But I did stop buying Kiss shirts. But then with the end of the road tour, and then Rob, I sent you that Eric Carr shirt with the
I love that shirt, by the way.
I got one for myself. And then like you said, I've been buying some vintage shirts and all that. So it's starting to get out of hand again. I need to rope myself back in. But until then.
I didn't say it, but I'm going to plug it right here. virtualmerchbooths.com/RBTE podcast, where you can get this slick hat. And the reason I said that is they are also the people behind Repro Tees. So I've got my very first concert t-shirt from Revenge that, I was a lot smaller in high school. And I was like, oh, I wish I could get that Revenge t-shirt. They're reproducing
them,
those shirts. So that's kind of cool to see some of those shirts. You're like, oh, I had that way back when. You can kind of go to a place like that. And, when you're done buying our merch, you can go to a Repro Tees and get it from there. So that's cool that's on there.
It's funny you mentioned virtual, what was it? Virtual merch booth. Is that what it is? Because I just today bought an RBTE t-shirt. So it'll be
congratulations
in the mail, hopefully in a week or 2. So I'll be sure to wear that on our podcast. Yeah.
Nice.
And I encourage everybody else to go get one. So
sweet.
There you go.
We really appreciate that, brother. All right. Absolutely. Moving on. My number 6. When you get into the band, you start looking at the 4 gentlemen on stage and going, which guy do I kind of identify with, or which is it? The cat? Is it the fox? Is it the ankh? I don't know how many people say ankh, but having a Kiss band member, somebody that you're like, oh, that's my favorite guy in the band. I like that he plays guitar or bass or drums. So for me, it's no surprise it would be Eric Singer, and a tip to the great late Eric Carr. But just having that guy in the band, or that person when you're at the show, your eyes usually gravitate towards. I'm usually watching Eric, and Gino catch my eye. Not that I'm not watching Tommy and Paul or Bruce or whoever was on stage, but having a fan favorite that maybe your collection maybe starts centering around that person. Like, oh, I found this cool Paul Stanley thing, or, I liked this thing from Ace. So I think that's kind of cool that Kiss is really identifiable by their makeup. And even in the 90s, you could kind of look at somebody like an Eric Carr or Bruce Kulick. I mean, Bruce is waving the flag for the non-makeup era and has maintained and cultivated not only fans for himself, but fans for Eric too, or you're a lifelong fan of that member. Even Ace and Peter, who aren't in the band, people are like, oh, Peter Criss is my guy, and they just will follow the members of Kiss beyond their time in Kiss or when they're in Kiss. So the favorite member is kind of essential. It's kind of a no-brainer, but having that person like, hey, I like Kiss, and oh, Gene Simmons is really cool because he's making me buy all this stuff. So favorite band member, I think, is also a must, and that just kind of happens.
5.
All right, we're down to 5. Xander, what do you got for number 5?
All right, so mine is kind of taking a page out of Nick's book. Nick was talking earlier about Kiss Alive 2, and having the essentials from the original era. I'm kind of going along with that too, because as a younger fan and a collector of the newer era, getting some of that vintage stuff is really hard to get. So once you do, you feel extra good about it. But I feel like a lot of Kiss fans, a lot of Kiss collectors are always trying to go for the Blood comic. The Blood comic is an essential in every Kiss fan, every hardcore fan, everybody's collection. The thing is, though, is that there isn't a million of them. There might be a million Kiss fans, but not everybody can have one. So to see something like this that's from 77 in this good a condition, I was really happy to get it. I know other fans, are really happy to have there's another one too. There was I'm not sure if it's right there. There's the other 70s comic, but I feel like the Blood comic is it's quintessential 70s Kiss. We all know that Big Bird is the one that got the blood in the Sports Illustrated, but the Blood comic in and of itself is still iconic. It's more about the lore at this point. The fact that, they really did draw their blood and put it in the red ink. And, there's that whole videotape, the news performance where the guy's like, it's a gimmick to sell comic books, one which may or may not be in good taste, depending on yours. That whole thing is just iconic. I remember watching that in Kiss Extreme close up, and it's just kind of been stuck in my head. But the Blood comic, it's just one of those things that's part of the Kiss fandom, is part of the Kiss lore. So even though I wasn't there, this is kind of like my little bridge, if you will, to 77. That and the Love Gun record.
I don't know if you noticed when you held that up, I saw Nick just jump in his seat. I know Nick has said this story before, but maybe Xander might not have heard it.
I don't think so. Oh, you're muted, brother.
I had that originally when it came out. I went to the store. I brought 2 copies, and God knows where they're at. It's been years and years, and I would love to have that again. But I'm going to jump the gun here a little bit with mine, because it's Kiss comic books. It's that. If that's the holy grail, if you can get that, that's wonderful. But through the years, there have been several iterations of Kiss. McFarlane did them. There's one recently that we're going to talk about. So I think it's just a great. What other band has comic books, right? Yeah. And comic books are something I think that today's generation likes more maybe than when I was growing up. It wasn't cool, but it's been cool the last 15 or 20 years. And I mean, grab yourself a Kiss comic. They're fun. The characters of the band, it's that real life kind of superhero symbolism that they have. That is, I don't know any other band that has that. So, and I would tag along and put with that vintage magazines, like you talked about earlier, Rob. If you can get your hands on some of those Hit Paraders, Circus Cream, some of those things you could find on eBay. I've got a few of them, but just the excitement of those days, of that being the only outlet that you could read about the band and have interviews about the band. And there was such mystery to them that it played right into that superhero aspect of them. But man, I see that comic you got. And again, I don't know many bands that have that going for them. And I think that's another essential part of being a Kiss fan.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I love it. All right. So this brings us to my number 5. My last two kind of sound with your guys. I kind of went like middle of the road, but a favorite song, something that you latch onto that you're like, this is my thing. This is my anthem. This is what I latched my fandom to. And I've said it on our show. This is always my favorite song. It's completely out of the realm of everybody else's, but it's Rain from Carnival of Souls is my all-time favorite Kiss fan. I don't know. Well, I know what it was at the time it was coming out, thinking I may never get to hear this. And I remember being in the Indiana Kiss Expo when Eric Singer was there in 96 when the reunion tour was going on, and there was a buzz going around like, hey, somebody's got a bootleg of Carnival of Souls. I came around the table and I heard that chunking guitar riff. I think I paid $35 for it there at the convention, and we listened to it. I kind of felt like half dirty all the way home. Like, I can't believe I have this. It was a crappy copy of a copy of a copy, but with that Kiss song, I know some people, I mean, again, Detroit Rock City and Black Diamond and all those are great, but having that thing that's yours, that is your battle cries, we're going into a war theoretically on this, but yeah, for your Kiss Army things, you got to have a Kiss song, your Kiss song.
So
all right.
Yours is Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, what would yours be? Do you have a favorite Kiss song or a particular song that you gravitate to? Maybe isn't your number one, but just one that you feel
I also have it as part of it. You want me to jump the gun? I'll go in front of you, and then you could tell us.
Oh, sure. So, yeah, perfect.
So
go ahead.
4.
King of the Nighttime World is my favorite Kiss song. For a lot of reasons, not only because I loved it the first time I heard it, but it's just to me like an anthem for me. I've always been kind of a nocturnal person, and a large part of my life was in the nightclub industry. 17, 18, almost 20 years of my life I devoted to that. And I always took a great sense of pride that we entertained people. We provided venues for people to come in, live entertainment, and just that kind of unabashed kind of lyrics of the song of youth and just cutting loose. And it's just, no matter what I'm going through in life, and we've got ups and downs and good times, bad times, all that, but that's a song that I never tire of, and it inspires me all the time. There's something about it. I never turn it off. There are so many great Kiss songs, Black Diamond, I Stole Your Love, some of the hits I could do without because we've heard them so much, but I mean, King of the Nighttime World is just like, I made it my own. And I feel like it really is a part of my identity. I feel like it's a part of their identity. I feel like I share that with those guys, you know, that kind of camaraderie of who we are. We're night people. We're there. We're entertaining you. We're partying. We're having a good time. We're getting everything we can out of life. And for that reason, I didn't mean to jump. But that song is very, very special to me. I love it. I've had the luck of seeing it live on the reunion tour, on the Psycho Circus tour. Anytime I hear a live version of that song, I don't care how crappy it sounds. It's just my favorite.
Even
awesome.
off Virginia.
Even off Virginia.
Even off Virginia. I like the polished one though. That was on the little
little CD.
CD. But you know, how about you, my guy?
And Monster Bonus Disc. It was on that one too. They released
it was too, my guy.
Yeah.
How about you? Now you have one too. Come on.
Yeah, so the reason why I asked is because we got 3 generations of Kiss fans here. I wanted to see how it would play out, and it played out perfectly. Nick went for 70s. I know, Rob, you were an 80s fan, so you're talking about Carnival of Soul, a 90s record. And for me, of course, it's going to be from the current era. It's Modern Day Delilah. Whenever I heard that song for the first time, I was on the bus listening to my MP3 player, and my friend texted me. He said, "New Kiss song on Y106." This is back when the local radio station was not crap. They turned to crap, but before then, they played some good hard rock. And so I turned it on the radio station. I caught Modern Delilah from starting in the second verse, then the second chorus, the guitar solo, the chorus, and the outro. So I missed the first part, but when I came in, it was just powerhouse from then to the very end. And it's still a song that when I hear it, it's like the first time. I don't know what it is. It's just that beat that Eric's playing, that kind of on the ride and snare, that bouncy beat. Tommy got a sick riff, and then of course the solo is for me up there with Forever and Detroit Rock City, where it's one of those singable solos. The song in itself is perfect. I mean, I think that a lot of the songs that they did on Sonic Boom and Monster were good and maybe even great. That song is stellar. It is absolute perfection. There isn't one thing they could have done that would have made it even better, or there's nothing they could do to make it bad. It's just that good of a song. So, but yeah, I wanted to see how that would play out.
That played out very well.
So yeah, it did play out very well, just like we assumed, wouldn't it?
Like, but before I had heard Carnival of Souls, my number one would have been Hide Your Heart. Hide Your Heart has always been my number two. So that would have been right in the first Kiss album I got was Hot in the Shade. I saw Hide Your Heart video, and it locked right there. So yeah, that played out very well.
Nice.
All right. So are we to 4?
I have, let's see here.
He's
one,
got
two. I've
Xander's
four
got to
left.
catch up here. So I already went. I gave my 4th, so you're gonna go.
Okay, yeah. So the next one on my list I had was an autographed item. I feel like a lot of Kiss fans at some point or another will get an autographed item, whether it's from buying something online, maybe somebody gave you something or got something signed for you. Maybe you actually got to meet the member yourself. But anytime you get something autographed, that's always very special. In fact, I have this little autograph. This was the first time I met Eric Singer. I bought this photo for $5 from somebody who had, taken the photo from a show they saw, got it printed off, and they were just selling prints for $5. Well, I had never met Eric before, so I wanted to have something for him to sign. So I paid $5 for this picture and had him sign it for me. And he wrote he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "To Alex." And of course, when you're in high school, it's just the coolest thing in the world. So this has always meant something to me. But I feel like Kiss is one of those bands that they do so many meet and greets. And of course, you've had Bruce and Eric and Tommy. And I posted a picture today of Ace from the Kiss Expo. All these guys, they make so many appearances that, Kiss, they really do feel down to earth. They are these larger than life superheroes. But, lots of Kiss fans have been able to meet these guys. I've met them. And it's always nice to know that your heroes aren't that far away. I'm not sure, Nick, have you met anybody in the band before? You have. I know Rob, you have, and we even got to see Eric Singer at the sound check. Was in the same room with him. Like, oh my gosh, look at that. It's that kind of stuff that I don't feel like anybody else has that opportunity. You talk to any of your friends about their favorite band. Have they ever stood face to face, shook that person's hand, said thank you, got an autograph, got a picture? Those are things that Kiss fans, I think, we get in abundance because the band is so giving. So I feel like one of the things that can really solidify you as a Kiss fan is meeting them. Nick, you talked about converting many people by bringing people to shows. I've done the same thing. I've even converted people by bringing them, to expos. It's like, hey, you want to meet Gene? Let's go meet Gene. I brought my best friend from high school to meet Gene. And he was only a Kiss fan for 6 months. Can you imagine being a Kiss fan for 6 months? You get to meet Gene. It's like, that's what Kiss will, they allow that for us fans. They give us so much. So I feel like, autographs are a part of a lot of Kiss fans' collections, and they're certainly part of mine. So that's my number 4, an autographed item. Can't go wrong.
Like I said, we don't talk before this. I was gonna show something else that's off the side. So I was gonna show this. This is the signed. I'll just show it anyway.
Yes, let's see it, please.
So this is the signed photo that you would have got at the VIP meet and greet. This is actually from Dayton, Xander.
Oh, wow.
Now, I didn't get this. Somebody in one of the Kiss Facebook groups said he had done a VIP meet and greet again, did the the sound check like we did, and put it up on one of the Kiss Facebook pages. And I ended up buying it. So that's kind of cool that this came from Dayton. So I've got Paul, Gene, and I've got everybody. But when you showed that Eric thing, I had autographs. So I'll show this. I've showed it on the podcast. I think you've seen this, Xander, I think.
Oh, I can't wait to see it again.
I'm probably going to drop it. Eric Singer's 2004 snare drum. February 10th, 2007, I met him on my birthday at Cleveland Kiss Expo. And wow, do this. He signed the inside of the drum, inside of the shell. Whoa. So I was the first one that he said, first thing he asked me was, Are you going to sell us on eBay? And my wife was like, no, this is his only snare drum on his drum kit. I've now retired it.
Wow.
So he signed it. So that was the first time he had ever signed his own signature drum. And then he proceeded to sing Happy Birthday to me in line and had everybody else sing. So I got
awesome.
Eric's autograph and he sang Happy Birthday to me. So that was.
I wish cell phones were a thing back then more than they are, or more like they are today, where we could have gotten a video of that. That would have been an awesome video to have.
Oh, I know. Back in the day, having
Happy birthday,
2007, that the video would have been so small and pixely.
240p, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
140p. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, I have Kiss autograph on. I was going to show that thing, so I showed both. So getting a chance to, like you said, the larger than life heroes, and going, I'm not going to meet probably John Bon Jovi. I'm not going to meet Kirk Hammett or Lars Ulrich or whoever, but the idea to go, oh, Paul and Gene are going to go Indianapolis Kiss Expo. They're going to go somewhere. We can see them on the sound check and be this close and even get a chance to take a picture, even if it's $1,000 or whatever. Back in the day, they would just show up to the expo and you stand in line for 2 or 3 hours, get to shake their hand. And that's just really cool. The band makes themselves that accessible to be able to do that. So
For real.
all right, we are down to the last three. Number three. Let's go with Xander.
Number 3 for me. So I have something. This is a little bit different, but I wanted to include something like this because what I put down was Kiss comfort item. So this could be, any different. This could be, anything for any Kiss fan. But you think about a little kid who has a stuffed animal that they just kind of hold on to and have. So maybe there's something that Kiss fans kind of latch onto, or something like that. And for me, weirdly enough, it's Kiss pajama pants. I'm wearing some right now. I love it. I found this pair of Kiss lounge pants on Kiss Army Warehouse like in 2014, and I ended up buying the entire stock. They're now out. I got very sad, got very depressed, went on eBay and bought every single pair of Kiss pajama pants I could find that was in my size. I even asked my wife to get me some for Christmas so that now behind my little destroyer blanket, behind my Kiss collection, I have an endless supply, probably like 10, 15, 20 pairs of Kiss pajama pants. No matter how old I get, no matter whether being sold or not, I will always have a pair of Kiss lounge. I will die in a pair of Kiss lounge pants.
That's pretty cool, man.
They're amazingly comfy, and I got like tons of them. So yeah, for me, Kiss comfort item, pajama pants.
Nice. I love it. Nick, number 3.
Well, we talked a lot about vinyl and audio and all that, but any Kiss fan, any Kiss Army member, you have to have the Kissology DVD collection because it's just so important. I think when those came out, they were so exciting. It was the first time that a lot of that stuff was ever really officially released. It was in chronological order, and it's decent enough quality to where that's what the band is. We talk about Alive and Alive 2. Now you want to see Alive and Alive 2, then you have to go to the Kissology collection. And for that matter, you have to have all 3, the bonus discs, all of them. But again, you're talking about converting somebody, you're talking about something that's essential. Like, it's hard to me imagine being a Kiss fan and for years collecting the bootlegs and going to the expos and the shows and paying a lot of money for those discs and always chasing the dragon, trying to get the updated version. Where's the Largo without the red lines? Well, there isn't a Largo without red lines, but I kept trying to buy it and find it. But at least knowing that the band finally, after so many years, said, you know what, we're going to put this thing together. I think they did a great job with it. I wish there'd be more of that. We talk about it on the show a lot of maybe what's going to come in the future, maybe different formats, but I love my Kissology 1 through 3. And I go back to them often, watch it. And if I've got anybody down here that's remotely interested, I love to pop those on and show them to them.
I love it. Love it.
That's a really good choice. I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely essential. 100%.
Essential for me in my Kiss Army Things bag. My number 3 is Destroyer.
Yeah.
I can wave the flag for Carnival Souls and Revenge and Hot in the Shade and Creatures, but when it comes down to it, we'll all be at the end of the road, 50th anniversary shows, and going, they're playing Do You Love Me again. But the reason they're playing Do You Love Me and Detroit Rock City and Beth and Shout It Out Loud and God of Thunder.
Love Thunder.
It doesn't remind me, but I heard Def Leppard say they released a greatest hits album all in one album with Hysteria. Kiss did it first with Destroyer. 90% of the End of the Road and almost every tour, once we get past Destroyer, has been a lot of Destroyer. And those songs have stood the test of time. Nick's favorite song, King of the Nighttime World. And I don't care. We always joke like where Detroit Rock City gets placed. Like, I don't think it works as a closer. It kind of does work as a closer. I got to hear it as a closer at the last show at Cobo Hall. I'm like, wow. Oh, they're going to do the encore and they're going to start with Detroit Rock City. It wasn't Rock and Roll the Night that ended Cobo Hall. It was Detroit Rock City. And I thought that was so cool. So Destroyer has to be, along with Alive and Alive 2 and Love Gun, Destroyer's got to be in that backpack of Kiss Army things, essentials. All right. We're down to the last two. What do you got for us, Xander?
So my number 2, I was actually, when we decided to do this topic, I was talking with my wife. I was kind of bouncing ideas off of her. And I was like, we're talking about, Kiss Army things, the essentials. You get a backpack, what would you carry with you? If you were going into battle, if you wanted to convert somebody, what do Kiss fans just end up, having or going for or being attached to? And she said, well, think of something that you carry around with you always. What's something that you have always with you? And I thought, Kiss tattoos. How different than a shirt, different than a wallet, different than a keychain. How many Kiss fans have Kiss tattoos? We all do. I think I have the worst one, but it's still one nonetheless. It's just the logo, just plain as day. Cool. It's about 10 years old. I need to get it recolored. But anyway, yeah, most Kiss fans, we end up getting tattoos. You've seen people, they have jeans sign their shoulder, and then they go and have a tattoo artist go over it, and they have all the signatures. I saw somebody with a full print Love Gun. Like, I wouldn't trust anybody to do a full print Love Gun. You got one shot, you mess it up, and that's over. But they go for it anyway. Kiss fans will do anything. So I feel like Kiss tattoos are, a pretty essential part of at least for most Kiss fans. Most Kiss fans end up getting inked with Kiss, and I am no different. So I would say that a Kiss tattoo is something that's just a part of. You mentioned in your DNA, it's in your skin. So yeah, it's part of it. It's part of me now. I take it with me everywhere.
I had always wanted a tattoo, went with a buddy of mine to a tattoo shop. He was always like, whatever it is that you think you want, put on the mirror for 30 days and look at it for 30 days. If you're not disgusted by it or lose sight of it, then you need to do it. I was coming up with all this crazy stuff. Then once I thought I had the thing that I wanted, he goes, okay, now you're going to come with me and I'm going to get it inked. I was like there 4 seconds and I'm like, nope, peace out. I'm good. I'll wear the concert t-shirt. I can go through it.
Yeah.
For sure. I think if I were to get one more Kiss tattoo, after getting this one retouched up, I would get Paul Stanley's icon, the star icon, right there on my chest, I think, just because I'm a huge Paul Stanley fan. And, I live to win is a big quote for me. So just to keep the Star Child near and dear to my heart, I would get the Star Child icon.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, number 2.
Well, in conjunction with, we talk about the main superheroes and comic books and whatnot, I have to say that I don't have the originals anymore, but I did have the Mego action figures, the dolls, if you will, when they came out. I have several of the other McFarlane releases in storage. And I can't think of another band where you would actually want to pose action figures, statues. You know what I mean? It's like album covers come to life. I mean, this once again gets into that persona where they're so much bigger than just a band. And I think that from a merchandising standpoint, like we always talk about, the fact that adult people want to go ahead, and you've got the Love Gun collection, the Dynasty collection, the Destroyer collection. I mean, it goes on, and they keep making these things, not to mention the Funko Pops, which I know they do. I know they do. A lot of bands now are doing that, but I still think Kiss was kind of the predecessor for that, and all the different versions, the Walmart version that just came out that we were able to find. So I can't think of another band that you can have so much fun with and literally have toys, action figures, dolls, Funko Pops. So I think that's another thing. If you're a Kiss fan, you got somewhere down the road, you bought something. And you have it somewhere. And, you know, one day I'm probably going to, I mean, I have the whole little stage set one that came that lights up. I've got that put away. It's been put away for years, but Nikko and I always talk about maybe he goes somewhere. I want to really display that thing somewhere. Someday we will, but can't think of anybody else. Can't think of a better band than that.
If you do that, I bought some little disco balls that were Christmas tree ornaments.
Sure.
And that disco ball I put on a Christmas tree ornament hangs from that stage perfectly. You turn those lights on, and the disco ball, I can close my eyes and go, they're playing Black Diamond.
Black
right
Diamond,
now.
dude. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Number 2 for me, we've talked about it. Kiss t-shirt. Of course, I'm wearing a Billy Baker t-shirt. That's close enough to a Kiss t-shirt with him doing the drums, but you got to have Kiss t-shirts. First one I got was the Revenge 1992 shirt, and then I've bought a Kiss t-shirt every single tour that I've seen, and then I started buying multiples, like, oh, I like shirt A, I like shirt Z, or like, you know, whatever it is. Then with the End of the Road, saw the End of the Road like 3 times, so I was able to get one at every single show. Xander and I were both in Dayton and going, well, I don't think I'm going to get the Dayton shirt, and then we both went, oh
Yeah, we are.
we are, because the dates were different because of all the starts and stuff.
Oh yeah, you'll justify it any way you can, and we
Yeah.
were no exception. Oh, that was great.
That's awesome. All right, we're down to number 1. What is the
1,
last thing that you're going to put in your Kiss Army Things bag that then we have to give to Xander so we can put all of our Kiss Army Things bags on his shelf? What are you going to put in there, Xander?
Yeah, so I kind of cheated on this one. I kind of got a little lazy with the last one, but that's okay, because we talked about in the beginning your first concert or your first ticket stub. Well, we're on the End of the Road tour now, so I mean, equally as important is the last ticket stub that you have, or the last concert you went to. I don't have the last ticket stub because they quit doing stubs now. It's all paper now and digital. But the last stub I have is from the 2020 show, right before COVID shut everything down, February 16th, 2020. We were 6th row. My out of focus there. Okay, so yeah, so obviously, you know, your first show is important. Well, now that Kiss has a date on it where they're going to be, you know, quitting and they're going to be done touring, you know, the last tour, the last show is equally as important. And so I know my last show will be the 25th. I know you guys are going to Rosemont, Illinois. Is that correct?
27th.
27th, right?
Yep.
I will let you know that Jeb and I are about this close from buying tickets to that show too.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
If we
If you
do,
come.
if you do, yeah.
We're gonna have a rock and roll party, dude. If you do,
I may
that,
have to
man.
get you guys' tickets and see where you're located. See if I
Yeah.
can get them exactly near your guys, so that we can all kind of coordinate. But to be TBD, we'll see on that.
Okay,
Okay.
that would
But,
that would be
yeah.
that would be outstanding. That would be great.
Because if that's the case, then that would all be our last Kiss show together. So
Wouldn't that
could
be
really
awesome?
cool. And it's funny because Rob, the last time we saw Kiss in Dayton, we said, "Hey, how cool is it that you and I get to experience our last Kiss show together?"
Right.
Lucky 13, and here we are, about to be, you know, on Lucky 14, Lucky 15, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's funny how that goes. But maybe, just maybe, we'll still experience the last show.
That would
together.
be awesome. That would be great.
We'll see.
Very cool. Nick, number 1, what do you put in your Kiss Army Things
Well,
bag?
My number one thing that I would put, we touched on earlier, is a brush with Kissness, right? If you're lucky enough to have met any of them under any circumstance, which I was very lucky to have Ace really visit a location, a bar that I ran back in the Psycho Circus days. I think it was 1998. And to make a long story short, he couldn't have been any nicer meeting him. He was kind of surprised I was such a big fan, because the bar that he was in, the bar that we did, was more like a Frank Sinatra Rat Pack nightclub with live entertainment to that genre. The best thing I could say about Ace is that I invited him. He was so cordial when I met him. He said he was going to get me tickets for the show. I invited him to dinner at our restaurant, showed up the next night, was a man of his word, took care of him for dinner, left 4 beautiful seats for me at this place we're going to see him, Rob, at the Allstate Arena. I was
Wow.
able to go backstage and be escorted around by a young man by the name of Tommy Thayer, who was their road manager at the time, who couldn't have been any nicer. Brought us, we could eat, we could drink, whatever we do. The only thing disappointment was we couldn't meet the band. We didn't meet them in makeup at that time. They were all in separate dressing rooms, but Ace did come back, and whatever Ace is, I think for me to impart on somebody when you meet your heroes sometimes, I couldn't have had a better experience with him. I couldn't have a better experience with Tommy as far as someone that was running the back end of the show, made us all feel like VIPs. So that's a nice story for me to impart on people when they say, you're such a big Kiss fan. I bet those guys are this. I bet those guys are that. Well, my experience was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out it couldn't have been any better. And it was great. I mean, it just, again, we all know the drama that goes on with this band. We know the sniping they do at each other, but my personal experience with them was great. I did see Peter in New York and did not want to go up to him. That's one of my biggest regrets. I was at a place called Carnegie Deli in New York about 3:00 in the morning. He walked in. I know it was him. We looked at each other, but it wasn't the right time to meet him. I've never met the other two. I always wished I would have somehow met Paul, but it never happened. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Who knows?
We should all get meet and greets for Rosemont. What do you guys say?
Sure.
Yeah. Wait, I think my wife just came out. No, we're just kidding.
Who's paying it? Yeah, exactly. We'll all do a GoFundMe on our channels, and we'll just raise a bunch of money.
There you go.
There you go. Right. Yeah.
Well, my last one just ties this all together. It was the first thing that was said here. A concert. A concert is that thing that you got to go. Even people are like, I don't think I'm going to go to the end of the road. I think when it's over, it's going to be a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, regardless of what's going on, be it your first show or your 501st show. There's nothing better. And we talk about it all the time on the podcast of like, I'm tired of hearing Do You Love Me or whatever, but knowing that this is going to be the last time we hear Do You Love Me, the last time we hear such and such. I think even a year from now, we come back to that moment and go, aren't you glad we went to that show? Or aren't you glad we got to see as many, or even if you were only able to get to one show, as any Kiss fan, I think that's the pinnacle, being able to fall in love with the music and getting to see your larger than life heroes on stage for the first time or the 101st time is always a special thing. And those smoke bombs and the concussion grenades and the rockets and all that stuff will never get old, but it will continue to live on in your mind. And that's why we're all doing these podcasts and why we love talking about this band. So I think it just kind of bookended your Kiss Army Things has got to be a Kiss concert.
Absolutely.
And with that is where we're putting a pin in it. We're zipping up the Kiss Army Things bag. Xander's going to take these bags back home, and he's got to find someplace to put all this stuff. While he's doing that, Xander, where can the good people find your show? How can they get a hold of you and know more about the Kiss Army Things and who's all on your show?
Yeah, so check us out on Facebook, Kiss Army Things. You can search Kiss Army Things. We're on Facebook, Kiss Army Things on Instagram, and Kiss Army Things on YouTube. Of course, YouTube is where we do our podcast, and we have some other short form Kiss content. You can check that out. I've been really getting into Kiss Meets the Phantom and doing some touching up on the VFX and some stuff like that. So I'm always finding different things to do, new Kiss content, things that nobody's ever done, nobody's ever seen. So check us out on Kiss Army Things on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. My wife and I are the ones right now that are co-hosting the podcast. Jeb makes some appearances here and there. He moved, so he isn't able to come film in person as much, but he's still very much a part of the Kiss Army Things family. And so, I want everybody to come join us, come watch, come talk Kiss with us, have a good time. Like I said, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Kiss Army Things.
Awesome. Mr. Caruso, where can people get a hold of you guys, and what's your other show that you've got going on with your absent son tonight?
Yeah, everybody could find me at N. Caruso Jr. on Twitter, but especially my show, Vigilante 1939. It's a fantastic podcast I do with the other two Nicks, my son Nick and basically my stepson Nick Zednick. And we just have a ball on there talking DC, Marvel, all the movies, the shows, Star Wars, you name it. So come follow us at Vigilante 1939.
I bet you guys, you want to get nuts?
We're going to get nuts.
I'm telling you, that Flash, the second Flash trailer, I transported right back to 1989, and I'm like,
heck yeah. And I keep going, oh, this is also a Flash movie
Mm.
as well. So
Pretty wild, Rob. It's going to be fun, man.
yeah. So if you're kind of just looking at the Flash movie, you want to go hear some more, go over to Vigilante 1939. They're going to set you guys up right.
Yep.
And with me, you can follow me at Drummer Rob 10 on Twitter. And then our podcast is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. You can get a hold of right between the eyes, as you guys like to do. So on the behalf of Nikko Caruso, who's not here, Nick Caruso, and our guest from Kiss Army Things, Xander, I'm Rob, and you guys have been watching and listening to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a podcast with 3 generations of Kiss fans telling you why we love it loud. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.